of all, I just want to thank you guys for coming out. I'm gonna put your names on the board if you keep talking. So, anyway, I just want to thank you guys for coming out. This is the first time we've gotten together in a group in a training seminar. So I'm hoping that we'll walk away with some good knowledge. I got a few things to start off. I know you guys have seen this, but this is really what it's getting to, right? We're going to have dueling pistols in the front yard to win a bid these days. You know, who's got the highest bid over list price? Let's hear it.
I have
50?
60.
60. Do I hear 65? There's
100.
100,000 over list price. Woo! Anybody else? My highest was 94. So which was shocking. And it had two people bidding against each other, and the one guy backed out, but I had a backup. You got to have a backup in today's market, guys.
I don't know how to get one. I can't get them. You have all these offers, and you can't get anybody that wants to be a backup.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't get it.
I just called the number two. I said, let me put you on backup. Good chance first buyer's going to back out once they wake up in the morning.
I do that, and they said no, they don't want to be backup.
Why?
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
But why do you think they don't want to be in a backup?
I don't know.
Because they're still looking.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can go buy.
Still
You can have 3 backup offers.
Right.
They're not binding until you become offered first position, right? So I put all my buyers in a backup position,
Oh yeah.
and I try to put my buyers on my listings in a backup position, right? So we've done some deals that way, and it just works, right? Matter of fact, one of our agents today, Christy Colberg, had a listing, and the buyer bid high, got their offer accepted, but the buyer really didn't know what they were doing and found out that they can't comply, right? Kyle Clayton had a backup offer on it, and then within an hour they were back in escrow, right? Had a signed back. And again, that's just the way to represent your client. So I would always have a backup. You can withdraw your backup at any time, okay?
I meant as a seller, like if I sell a listing.
Yeah.
I can't get all the offers. I can't get any of them to be a backup.
Okay.
My buyers are always telling me to be backups because
Right.
we always get it back.
Well, I pretty much talk somebody into it. You know, I tell them, what do you got to lose?
Right.
What do you got to lose? Well, my internet's a little unstable. That's kind of scary. All right. All right. So I got a couple quotes to start off. If you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. Right. The rest of it goes, if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. Right. I truly believe most of my success in real estate is learning from other people. I don't think I have too many original thoughts in my mind, but I'm pretty good at gathering ideas from other people. Okay. Have another quote. Stay away from still people. You know what still people are?
Don't
Anybody?
The ones that don't have any goal in life.
They are,
You don't have to survive.
as I'm clicking here. Well, what the hell happened? Oh, I'm wondering if
You're
some,
still doing the same thing that you were in the first place.
let me see what's going on. It's weird because my mouse doesn't work on this for some reason. Maybe because we're going AirPlay. Nothing worse than technical challenges. There we go. Still people, they're still complaining. They're still broke. They're still going nowhere. And they're still hating, right? We need to surround ourselves with people going on the same mission as we are, right? So with that being said, I'm going to talk to you about how to choose a farm area, okay? Has anybody done farming before? Okay, all right. So I know you and I were farming 30 years ago, right? And pretty much
Off and on.
very close to the same neighborhoods, right?
Yeah,
Off of Peoria Road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I made sure I didn't choose your.
my domain. Well, one of the things that we're going to teach you is how do you play with other people that are in that domain and what makes sense, right? And I'll show you some real live numbers, okay? So I chose this market, Vistancia, right? You guys know Vistancia, but here's what you need to understand about farming. You need to find a farm that will get you somewhere of a turnover rate between 6 and 8%. Okay. Does anybody not know what a turnover rate is? And the reason I'm going to ask you questions is because I want you to answer so we can have a two-way conversation. Yeah, how many houses are selling, right? So if you have 100 homes in your farm area and 6 homes sell, that's a 6%.
Per year, that sounds like.
Per year, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so how we do that, we find the total number of homes in your target market, the total number of sales in a 12-month period, okay? And a couple of things that you're going to want to know is you're going to want to know the average sales price. And normally you'd want to know the average days on market, right? That doesn't really come into play today, but it may in 6 months or a year or whenever the market gets back to normal, because you want to understand the market. You also want to understand your competition, right? You really want to know who your competition is. And then you have to establish an annual budget. The biggest problem with people that do farming stop too early, right? So if you found a neighborhood, and let's just use that 100 homes again for a minute, and only 6 homes sell in a year, and you advertise for 3 months in a row and nobody listed their house and you quit, the people are still, those 6 houses are going to still list later on that year and you're not there yet. And you have to understand, I believe farming is, and I never talk politics, but it's a lot like being a political person running for office, right? I think there's some people that vote on how many signs they see on the way to the polling station that day. They know who the president is, they know who the governor is, but they don't always know the sheriffs or the different people. And they're going to just vote off a popularity contest, right? So you have to get your name out there. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. Don't use the arrow, don't use the space bar, use the mouse pad. Okay. All right, so we're all good.
Do you have a USB on your laptop that we can hook up a mouse to?
I don't need one. I'm good now. I know how to do it now.
Okay.
I figured it out after 5 or 6 clicks.
Got it.
When you're picking a farm, right? And what I did here is I picked Blackstone as the example, right? I know Blackstone fairly well. What you do is you just go into your into MLS and you draw out the neighborhood that you want to farm. I want you also to go and look for RPR. If we get done with this process, I'm going to find a video from RPR. It's just 3 minutes that I'm going to play for you. Okay. But RPR has a system where you go into their system and you can pick a neighborhood, and it does cap out at 500 homes, but it'll count how many homes are in that neighborhood. Okay. And it'll let you know the turnover rate. It's pretty cool, but it's limited to 500 homes. So if you were doing more than 500 homes, you'd have to do multiple sets, but it was pretty cool. So when you mark out Blackstone, now normally I would have to come up this road to be a little tighter because this is now a new community, but I know there was no resales in there yet. They're just being built and they're outside of Blackstone. But for this example, you just draw it out, and you can do 2 or 3 things once you draw out your community. You can see how many active listings are in there. And if you go through your active listings and you just look at them, you can sort by the listing agent. And this is important so you can find out who's your competition. So if you go into a marketplace and there are 5 dominant realtors and they have 60% of the market, is that really a market that you want to choose? Or is there a neighborhood next door where there's really no dominant realtor, right? So you want to study your market. It's not always the neighborhood you live in. It's a neighborhood that maybe you want to live in. I think I started farming Blackstone before we moved into Blackstone, but it was a conscious decision. That was where I wanted to move to. And like one of my favorite quotes is Wayne Gretzky was asked, why are you the greatest hockey player? He goes, because I skate to where the puck's going to be, right? And in this case, I kind of skated to where the market I wanted to be, okay? All right, so Blackstone. Now, when I started in Blackstone, there were no resales, right? There were 0 resales. There were only new homes. And I started a marketing piece, just marketing. And there was nobody, And I used to figure out who's going to ever move out of here. I mean, I loved it. Why would you move out of Blackstone, right? Well, then people started moving, right? But in the beginning, I used to just use the new home sales. So let's say if you were going to farm Sterling Grove, right? Sterling Grove doesn't have any resales yet. But if you start to be the knowledge person of Sterling Groves, and I would give you an example if any of you wanted to do that. There's an agent up in Vistancia that just opened her own real estate company last week. But 5 years ago, she started a Vistancia Facebook group. She's got like 14,000 people on her Facebook group. And we all hang out in there. We all ask those questions. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wrong pipe. That's because you're drinking soda pop. That'll kill you. All right. So Blackstone, 650 homes. Okay. 59 homes closed last year. Okay. That's 118 sites. Okay. And at 59 homes that sold, some of those were builder specs. You know how the builder puts in the sold. Okay. So that was a 9% turnover, right? When you take out the builder side, it's a 7% turnover. As I said in the beginning, your bottom line maybe is about a 6% turnover. You need to have turnover in a community to make it worth your while, right? So the next thing is I just went ahead and did the volume. There was $45 million of business that were done for the 59 units and 34 million for the 45 units. I'm just trying to get a feel for the neighborhood, right? That I want to try to market. And the average price is 775. So approximately per side, we're not talking commissions, but approximately it's about 20,000 apples, right? That if you sell a house, that's the gross commission that you can earn. So my budget is $10,000, okay? So if I spend $10,000 marketing, how many houses do I need to sell to break even? Right, so one house, right?
Right.
That's it, right? So at the end of the day, I just need to sell one house and I double my money, okay? And when I say this, I want you to also understand that I'm not taking into consideration the possibility of double ending that, and that's a $40,000 commission, right? Or I take that seller and find him another house. I'm just really focusing in on the one side of the commission to make my projections. Anything above that that happens is gravy, okay? So in 2020, I was only mailing to 385 homes. So somewhere along the way, they built all these homes, and all these new people moved in, and I did not even realize that. What are you doing?
I'm fixing something. All right.
All she do is click on that down. We don't want to change.
Oh, thank you.
But don't do that because I'm not there yet.
You know, you can hit the arrow.
It wasn't working. It wasn't working, nor was the space bar.
That's so
So that
weird.
8220, that was monthly.
That was annual.
Annual.
That was my annual
That's what I
cost.
thought.
Okay. So again, I found out when I was doing this research, when I went in, that I wasn't mailing to almost half the subdivision. So as good as, I kind of said it and forget it a few years ago. Well, guess what? They built 300 more homes, right? And so that is now being corrected, and now we're moving forward. So my budget will probably go up to about 16,000. Okay. But now I'll be touching more people.
There you go. Sorry.
Okay. No problem.
Sorry.
Okay.
First time jitters, guys.
Yeah.
Working through the kinks. Thank you.
Well, there we go again.
Got it?
Okay. All right. So here's the result of 2020. Okay. This mailing piece. Oh, go figure. It's not even here. It's my big mailing piece. It looks like this. It actually looks like this, but it's this size and it opens up, right? Thought I had one here. It's this size. Okay. It goes out to Blackstone. I use a third-party company, which means we don't have to fold it. We don't have to put a label on it. We don't have to worry about the mailing. We just third-party it out, and they take care of everything. For that, it costs me $1.65 per piece. Okay, Steve, would you mind running
Right.
the office and grabbing a few of the Blackstone things? So bring a handful if there's some there, okay?
Right.
So it's $1.65. I brought this concept to the office 5 years ago. There's only two people in the company that are doing it today, Linda Raywalt and myself. Linda Raywalt dominates Anthem. Yes, ma'am.
What, company do you use for that?
It's called REM. Okay? REM does a lot of other things, and I'll talk about them a little bit later. Okay? So $1.65, it's a volume price, and it's a little bit higher now. It's probably about $1.85 or so now, but because I've been original guy, I didn't raise my prices yet. Commission in Blackstone only last year was $130,000. Now, we do other things in Blackstone, right? We're members of the country club. It's part of our community. We're involved. So sometimes it's sphere of influence, but I think what I tagged the commissions here was pretty much from something that was an REM or marketing. No, the Blackstone mailer. It says Blackstone on the top. And so it's a 16x return, right? And if you can get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6%, I mean 6% or 6 times your investment is a really good target when you're investing in whatever you spend, you should get times more. You don't want to get twice as much because really just created a job for yourself, right? So now I made this presentation about 3 weeks ago. So far this year in Blackstone, I 70,000. Okay, so it's working, right? My $8,000 worked pretty good, but this is like year 5 of doing this, right? And I hate to say it, yeah, that's it. I hate to say it. It is not, I'm not even the #1 guy right now in Blackstone. I'm pretty close, we're right there. And if your volume, you're talking units, they've got a couple multi-million-dollar homes that just, and it bumped him up. But I don't have to be #1. Pretty close to being #1 or 2. Like I said, we jockey. He used to work for us. He owns his own real estate company right in the community. And so with that being said, and at that time, 4 listings were $2.4 million, which are all pending in or have closed as of yet, right? I don't tell you that to brag. It's just to show you that you stick with it, you find a market, you keep the machine, right? Any questions?
What was your progression? You said you've been doing it 5 years?
Oh, I probably the first year, anything.
So what was your progression, just ballpark each year?
Oh, I probably made 50,000, then 75,000, then 100,000, and this year we'll probably make 150, 200,000. Yeah. So just off one subdivision, I have a bunch of farms.
Right.
Right. So that's just one mechanism. Okay. This is it. You can pass this around. A couple things I want you to look on here is on the front of the presentation. It says presented by Martinez Remax Professionals, your Blackstone real estate specialist, prepared especially for. Then it will have the homeowner's name there. This happens to be me. It's mailed to me, right? When you go through it, there's other places I can insert, like here's Nate's name again, the client, right? There's different places I can insert a message right with the homeowner's name on there, right? That's called variable digital printing, right? I think people, matter of fact, I went to a house the other day in Air Lakes. The guy had a stack of these things, and there was other realtors in there, but my stuff looked better, right? So dominate Arrowhead Lakes. In fact, you helped with the Arrowhead Lakes house I just sold.
Oh, did you?
She left Remax. Something went wrong. She got unwired and she went over to Long Realty, and then she got a call from one of her old Remax ads, and the guy wanted to
Telephone book.
Yeah, this guy's dad died, and She was at Long Realty and she tried to get the listing and he goes, no, I want to work with the next agent. She goes, well,
He did set an appointment with me,
mhm,
but the more I thought about it, that if I was probably calling other realtors and was going to be you.
mhm.
So I figured I might as well refer it to you,
There you go.
make the referral fee, and I knew you would sell it.
Right. So not only did I sell it, I bought it.
Yeah,
I got to tell the story because I think it's fascinating. I bought it, but I still paid her commission. I take a commission, but I still paid her a referral fee. Like I got a full 3%, right? And she got a referral fee. I bought the house from the guy for $450,000. I put about into the house. I just sold it to a California guy for $800,000 cash. No commission paid, right? So that was pretty good. And it's bittersweet because that's been a vacation rental. In the last 4 months, I'm averaging $10,000 a month on vacation rental income. So it's really kind of, I opened my mouth and I told the guy, he was looking at another house. I said, look, if you want to buy this one, why don't you just buy mine? I'll sell it to you for 800. And he goes, when can I see it? And I said, tenant moves out in the morning. So we went over there. He goes, okay, I'll take it. And I'm a man of my word, so I'm
I
going
know,
to sell
but
it to
the
him.
market went up so high.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
it
what
did.
I mean?
It did.
And now you don't have to deal with Airbnb people.
But I like it.
You did.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't do nothing. I delegated it to Brandy. One thing you know, I delegate everything, don't I, Tanya?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in our house I do. Drives Tanya nuts. She says, we're gonna hang some pictures, we're gonna hang this or that mirror. I said, call the handyman, right? I just don't feel that I have time to slow down, right? Or if I do, it's not to do honeydews, okay?
Do you like how he didn't even look up for that?
Yeah.
Not lying.
Okay, but I think it's important to know, right? There was a point in time I used to love to cut my grass, wash my cars. I don't wash my car. I don't even go to the car wash. The guy comes to my house, right? It's all designed to save me what? Time. I trade money for time.
Mhm.
I trade marketing for time. I've never called for sub owners. I never worked expireds. You know, I just never knocked on doors, right? I remember my first broker asked me, he goes, you need to have 6 months of money in the bank and you have to be willing to knock doors. I think, man, I live in Maryville, right? I'm not knocking on anybody's door, you know? Plus I didn't have 6 days of money in the bank. So these are 4 subdivisions I looked at. Now this data is a little bit old, right? But it proves a point, right? Because all these prices have gone up and this data is probably from about 18 months ago. But I just wanted to show you. Up here, I got Northlands, right? You guys know where Northlands is? Joe Max and about 107th Avenue, okay? Taylor Morris Community. There's 700 homes up there. In this time, and this, like I said, it was 18 months ago, so don't freak out about the numbers. 59 homes sold, 8.4% turnover. That's better than Blackstone, okay? The Meadows, right? At the time, there were 1,400 homes in the Meadows, 126 homes sold, 9% turnover, right? Trilogy, you know this community very well, right? There's 26, is that correct? 2,600 homes, does that sound right to you?
More.
Maybe more now with the new addition, right? Yeah. In that time period of 12 months, 246 homes sold. Turnover, 9.4%. Okay. West Wing, 956 homes, 129 homes sold, 13% turnover. Okay. So what you want to do is just start looking around and find a neighborhood that has a turnover rate and a price point in a neighborhood that you feel comfortable working in, right? I was working in a little community at 55th Avenue in Peoria. I owned it. It was a whopping probably 150 home subdivision. I had more listings in there than anybody. Then I expanded. Then I started milling to 500 homes. Then I started milling to 1,000 homes, right? And it was simple. Just simple postcards at a one-word theme. It would have like a word and then a Webster's definition of the word, like success, and whatever it said, right? And I would just send that out. On the back of the postcard said, the name you know, right? I would just program them to know my name, all right? So anyway, you do your research and you continue on. So what do I send out? I send out market updates. I send out every door direct postcards in low cost marketing, all right? If you take me back 20 years ago when I used to live in Arrowhead Ranch, I had the back page of this news, and it was the Arrowhead newspaper, whatever it was, right? It was filled with garbage, right? All kinds of ads, right? You'll never see one of my ads inside a publication where other realtors or other businesses have their businesses, because you have to open it up, you have to find it, you know. I have the back page. If I don't have the back page, I don't play, okay? So I had that for years, and then, you know, the market changed, the REO changed, and I gave that up, and I never got it back, okay? I also found another place, which was the Peoria Recreation Guide. They had no advertising in there, and I called up the city of Peoria, and I said, hey, you got this back page. Why don't you sell it to me and get some revenue for the city? And they go, no, we can't do that. Well, why not? Well, because we don't sell advertising. Why not? Right? So after about 10 calls, they sold me the back page, and I had the back page, and I went to every single home in the city of Peoria for like $1,200.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, right? That was back then too, but I mean, I don't know,
They
5,
still send
10,000.
that thing out.
They still, but again, I let that go, right? And again, it's that guide was something that hung around for a while. I think it was maybe monthly or quarterly, I can't remember. But it had everything to do, every community event, every class.
Classes, yeah.
And so that might hang around your coffee table for a little while, right? That's what marketing that we're talking about. The piece you're going out is the Blackstone piece. I kind of explained it to you. There's a front, there's an inside, and another inside, and there's a back, right? So in there, in the back, I'm usually advertising the houses. On the inside, I'm advertising what's for sale or what's sold in the community, right? And again, MLS kind of got on me, or somebody turned me in, and I had to remove the addresses from the active listings. And I'm thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I'll get political on what I think is right and wrong, right? I'm like, the internet has the address. Why can't my printed piece?
Right.
Put some rule in the MLS guidelines somewhere. So I dropped the addresses. I had it for like 3 years, right? You can put the address on the solds. You just can't put the address on the actives on the printed piece because it's another realtor's listing.
Yeah, it's your marketing plan.
I know. Well, you can have to get each one. And again,
No.
I delegate. Well, this is all pulled. All this information is pulled by the company. They go in and pull it. Matter of fact, I don't ever really proof it. Junior proofs it. Right? And so again, just a piece. Again, that piece has gone out every single month, probably for 5 years. Right? It just doesn't stop. Okay. The only thing I changed on, I added Tanya's picture to it. Because she's part of the community. She golfs more than I do. Right? And so, and it's worked. I mean, a lot of ladies from golf call her up to list one of these houses, right?
Oh, hello, look at her face.
I know, she's cuter than me. So, has anybody done every door direct?
Yeah.
Okay, this is easy, guys. Don't even think this is hard. Office at Arrowhead. I mean, at Arrowhead office. And where you see all these little blue lines, that's Arrowhead Lakes, and over here, and this is the top of the ranch, right? All that right there is 3,204 homes. So if I wanted to mail to them, and think about this, whatever we're going to first class. What's first class stamp cost you today? Yeah, a lot, right? Yeah, 14 cents. Maybe it's 14 cents. Maybe it's 17 cents.
It says 19 at the bottom.
Does it?
All the way at the bottom.
Yeah, it's 19. It used to be 14 cents. So it's 19 cents. 200 to get that number, but
Where is this? What is this?
this is homework for you. USPS.com, United States Postal Service.com. Type in EDDM. There's like little videos teach you how to do it and whatnot. So what do we send out? Every door direct. We send out just listed and just sold postcards. Okay. So these things, right? I'm creating what I call assets, right? I want these assets to be used over and over again. Steve went to get stuff and he brought piles of assets, right? These are homes that sold, we didn't send them out, what have you. They're information that I give to people. So if you live in some of my areas like Arrowhead Lakes or like Blackstone or Vistancia, you'll see my collateral come through, right? And even though some of those people, I might only mail 2, 3, or 4 times. Ask anybody who works for the mail in the Northwest Valley. They know who I am because they deliver my stuff all the time, right? So when I list this house, like this house here, I list it, and we're always testing, right? This is a house at 55th 3rd Avenue, back in a Pinnacle Road, okay? So what I'm doing with low market is put the house on the market Saturday and Sunday and take the offer on Monday, right? In January, we didn't do that. We just kind of put it coming soon and sold before it hit the market. And then my buyer's agents and I are looking around like, wow, we didn't convert anybody off that, right? So I said, oh, what's in the best interest of the seller is get more buyers in the house, see if we can raise the price. So really there was a lift in our prices the next month. We went to open houses Saturday and Sunday, offers reviewed on Monday. And when we went to that, Steve, how many buyers would come through your open houses?
Then I got information on the average 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
Yeah.
yeah. What you don't know about Steve, last year he got 164 leads from open houses. And I'm not saying just a name. He's got a name, a phone number, and email. These are people that he is working. How much percentage of your business comes from open houses?
90.
Yeah, almost all of it, right? And Steve, as a buyer's agent on a 50-50 split on team weight, made well over $100,000 last year, right? And just working open houses and listing houses now, right? So, and it's crazy, huh, Steve?
Crazy.
It's crazy. So we mail these out. I mail out 5,000 of them, right? Cost me about $1,500, right? Between the printing and the stamps, right?
Oh, no.
And I want people to call me, not really to buy the house. I want them to call me to list their house. So a lot of times I go to a listing and they have this on the thing. I said, why'd you call me? Well, you've been mailing me these for a while. Sometimes they have a whole bunch of them, you know? Yes.
How much of your marketing do you price off?
All of it,
All of it?
everything. Matter of fact, you won't find a square foot. You'll find some beautiful pictures, but you won't find a price. You won't find a square footage. You won't find a bedroom count. Why? I want them to call. Why? We want to convert them, right? It's all about conversion. People sometimes get pissed off, right? You know, and they do. And then, so I have fun with them. I said, well, why didn't you put the price on there? Well, what if I would print all these things in myself if you want to change the price? No, then blame somebody else, right? So, but, you know, when you do that, you get people to call. And in this office, that basically is free to you. I pay money for you guys to use that, so use it, please. Has my voice pad number and a code, and they get information on this house. Now think about this. Let's just go back to Blackstone. If over a course of a year, we mailed out 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 pieces, And we collected 100 people that called in voice pad over various homes. We can go into our voice pad system. We say, hey, somebody wants to, we can pull out like all the Blackstone calls for a year. And I'm in the listing appointment. I can show the seller, look, we got 100 buyers for Blackstone alone that we've gotten the last year, right? Or you can list the house and you can call those 100 people and say, hey, I got a new house coming on the market. We're going to be open this Saturday. And I'll give you an example of that right now. Jennifer, who's been licensed about 18 months on our team, she's aggressive, right? Hungry. I like hungry people. She calls voice pads. So she was doing an open house. Now follow me for a minute. I'm the team leader. It's Blackstone. Jim on my team lists the house for $979,000. And I scold him a little bit. I said, Jim, it's overpriced. Doesn't even have a pool, right? First open house, Jennifer does the open house on Saturday. A realtor pulls up, then the first hour of the open house says, close the open house down. I'm writing a full price cash offer. She goes, well, I'm going to continue to hold it open. She called the voice pad from that one listing, from there were the neighbors. One of the neighbors came over. She invited him over to see the house. He walked over, he goes, if you can sell this house for this price, you can list my house. Now, Jennifer's never listed a house over like a $200,000 single wide or double wide, right? She's never had that experience yet. The guy likes her. By the time the open house over, we already tendered an offer $45,000 above list price cash. So she says, we sold it. And she listed the house for $1 million.
Wow.
And that sold, and they sold them another house for about 900. Okay. So that one didn't sell for $1 million, sold for 950, but off of calling voice pad and doing an open house. Just working a very, very simple system. Nothing I'm teaching you right now is hard, right? Matter of fact, it's easy, right? So in this case, we tried something different. Easter Sunday was the next day. And I couldn't get my 2 days in. So we tried a sneak peek a day because what I also learned not listing the house active in ML last Friday. I was paying for it. So I started, okay, or the previous Friday and block out all showings. Was missing that. So think about that, because Max is spending that money for a whole week of free advertising online for you, okay? So that's what we've been doing.
Soon, you said.
What's that?
So you do the open soon and then list it on Friday, or does it have to be active?
No.
I put it active. You have to put it active.
Okay.
So it goes active and we just block out all showings and we put in things. First showings will be 9 o'clock on Saturday or whatever.
Just right there.
Right, yeah. And even if we end up showing it before, remember, if you show one, you have to show all,
Mhm.
right? You can't show the listing yourself and not let me show it or somebody else. That's a violation. That's a pretty heavy duty fine. Got to be careful, right? That challenge and more complaints of our agents double ending deals than we've ever had before. Because what happens, they sell the house for full price and they go to coffee and when they say, oh, he sold it too cheap. Joe just sold his house around the corner for $30,000 more than yours. You know what I mean? So what I have found by doing the double open houses, every house sells. This house was listed at 900,000. I'll tell you this story. 900,000. I get 875 cash offer, close whenever the seller wants to, and I can't get the agent up. And it was before. It was between this time. They came here with their agent, but we weren't going to look at offers. So this offer came in like Monday. I presented it to the seller, but they're not going to make a decision till they get to the open house this weekend. And I love this agent. She's an awesome agent. Tanya knows what I'm talking about. I tried coaching her. You got to get your price up. I said, my people are not going to counter your low offer, low offer, cash offer. I've told more people this year that your full price cash offer is the worst offer of the bunch. I mean, it don't even make sense, right? But that's what's happening, right? So another guy comes in, it was late Monday, like 3 o'clock Monday, and I'm thinking, so I'm countering this offer finally in a multiple offer situation because the other offer is coming in. Now I'm gonna use both of these people for my seller's benefit to get them highest best price. So we send it out. The second offer comes in at 9:15, contingent upon a house closing, right? So wait, right? I saw the shaking heads. So we counter both of them. We're happy with 900 cash with my friend, right? I counter both of them a multiple counter offer. The guy sees multiple counter offer, talks to his client, changes his offer, comes back at 925, right? $25,000 earnest money, waives the inspection, signs the Binzer, 0 days. We're done. And I think the money was non-refundable, 25,000. Still, we're like thinking, well, cash. Sellers were like, I'm gonna go with the sure thing, cash, right? Before we did anything, the guy bids himself. Again, we didn't do anything. They come in at 950, 50,000 above list price. So we sold it to him, right? I also looked at the offer. He represented the buyer on the house that was these people's house. Same offer. And think about this. I don't recommend it, but he also waived the inspection. Not only did he waive the inspection, he's signing the Binzer that they're not asking for anything. And there is no inspection, right? It's not the best way to recommend your client, but this guy took that risk. They were gonna gut this house anyway, right? But he outbid himself. They were looking at taking the 925, say, for $25,000, it's, 6 weeks. We might take that risk, right? And if not, we'll put it back on the market and sell it again, right? But he outbid himself. It's bizarre.
Are you requiring them to send in proof of funds for the extra money over?
Yeah.
What
And I'm
was the
pretty brutal.
question?
I'm
What
not
was the
brutal, I'm just
question?
thorough.
Yeah.
I want to know everything. I want to talk to the lender, I want to know everything. I mean, if I'm gonna, and we use it, I created a spreadsheet about 3 weeks ago on the Friday video. I show you how to create a spreadsheet where in MLS under the Realtor Remarks says you have to go in there and fill out this form because I don't want your offer to get missed with all the offers we have. And now they're filling out the form and I'm getting these spreadsheets all filled out. And then I read them and I color code them for the seller and the seller can see all the offers side by side and I can help them make a decision. I'll end up color coding them that they're dark green are the ones that we should look at, and the reds are like, get these out of our mind, right? And then you can have them sign off on that. That way they see every offer. Okay, but yeah, it's not always the highest offer, right? It's not always the highest offer. So anyway, let's continue on here. Okay, Vistancia, 7,600 homes. Okay. Blackstone, as I said, 650. Trilogy, according to this map, is 3,400 homes, okay? Vistancia is 3,600 homes, 7,600 homes in Vistancia. Now, I can't afford to spend $1.50 every single month on that, right? Now, something came up one day because of COVID, love COVID, but well, I learned how to take advantage of things, right? I don't love COVID. Vistancia Living is a magazine that's put together by the Homeowner Association, right? Now, for the last 5 years I've lived in Vistancia, I get this thing in my mailbox, right? And for the last 5 years, which was, remember? These tap room. So when, and I never would really read it. I kind of maybe look at it, throw it away, right? Sometimes I maybe would read an article, but most of the time I didn't. I'd always look into see what realtors are advertising, right? I guess it's competition there. And for 2 or 3 months, I didn't know this, But the month I saw it, the back page was black, just black. And it says, if you want your business advertised here, call this number. I thought back to Arrowhead, and I think I'm going to buy that back page. I fell over myself trying to get my phone, dialing as fast as I can, hoping that somebody didn't beat me to the punch. And the guy gave me he goes, well, if you do a year contract, I'll take another, $1,200 off the contract. Like, okay, I wasn't even negotiating with him. He was giving me a deal. I would have paid him twice, right? So I pay, I think it's $1,100 a month for the back page of this. Now, you can do the calculations, but I hit every house in Blackstone, $1,200 a month, 7,600 homes for 16 cents. Okay. Now I know this won't play out now. It has. The first one went out. I listed a house in Trilogy. We sold it. I sold her a house, a brand new home out in wherever it is, way down south, right?
Okay, good year.
Yeah, it's out Goodyear, the retirement community out there. Pebble Creek, thank you. So that was another story. I walk her into Pebble. We gotta be careful there. Robeson communities. I walk her in. We find a house she wants. We go look at the lot. We find everything's fine. I knew she was there because I was there because I asked because I know that place. They're devil. We're sitting there. The lady goes to the restroom. The sales agent leans over. She goes, "My manager just informed me that we can't pay you." And I go, "Why?" They go, "Well, she's been in here before." I go, "When?" 7 years ago. 7 years ago. No, they paid me. Trust me. And I just told her, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to leave. You explain it to her, but you do all the contracts after I leave because I'm going to leave. And then, so you might want to talk to your manager, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they paid me. Well, I haven't got paid yet, still being built, but I'm getting paid,
Wait,
right?
7 years?
7 years. They're intimidating out there. 7 years.
Can they really hold that over 7
They can do whatever they want to do. It's their company, right?
Yeah.
And Robeson's the worst at that, right? So you just gotta be careful. You go to Robeson, understand if your client's been there in the last 3, 6, 7 months or a year, or maybe 2 years, you may not get paid. I had a friend that, John Lacanina, they were gonna buy a house and they wouldn't pay me. And he said, "I'm not buying a house." He still doesn't buy a house. I sent this out, the first one. I didn't have this verbiage in this thing over here. I just had pictures of my marketing. First month it went out, I got that deal. So I've already paid for this book now. I don't know, 500 times 3, 15,000. I paid a year, right? First day that thing got delivered, right? I haven't really got anything else. It's been going about 3 months now, maybe 4. So anyway, this is just gonna hopefully breed some leads over time, all right? And so look for things like this where it's cheap, right? This piece cost roughly about 35 cents a piece to get delivered, right? That other piece going around is about $1.65.
Who does that one that you just looked at?
Orlando. Everything I do is Orlando.
Good.
He designs it.
Designs it.
Just an REM thing.
No, I don't use except for REM. Yeah. And I can have Orlando probably do that, and we just have to do it in house. This is another piece. This is a luxury piece I did. This was sent to all the people that have houses over $1 million in the Northwest Valley. 5,000 of them. I want those people to know who I am, right? And at that time I had a pretty good inventory of luxury homes. But again, Orlando laid this out as well. So I just want you to think about, we have all the tools here for you if you just reach out and ask, right? So everything, if you see any marketing I do, from the logos or anything I have, it's all done by Orlando, right? Orlando has an MBA in graphic design, right? It's amazing that he works for us, He's worked for us for probably 10 plus years, He also got a little cuckoo one time, went over to HomeSmart for a couple years doing marketing for them. Then he came back. I like it when they come back. Questions?
We just have to call Orlando and Person Health to
Yeah.
come in, see him face to face.
Yeah, make an appointment with them. They'll charge you a little bit of money. It's a little bit of money.
Yeah, it's not much.
It's a little bit of money.
So That one you just said you did cost 35 cents to deliver. That you mean that's the postage on it?
That's the printing and the postage.
And that's through the.
Every door direct. But we're talking volume, all right? I'm doing high volume to get the
The
print
more
cost
you
down.
send, the
Sure.
cheaper it is.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably at a 2,500 run or a 5,000. It's the same price for either one of those runs. Now, I got this idea from a guy named Albert Harpinian in Glendale, California. And I used to print these from his printer in LA because I couldn't get them cheap. Our printer, who we use, and if you ever read our newsletter, his name's in there every single month for the last 10 years. His name is Barry, sweetest guy on the planet.
Oh,
He's a print
I
broker.
use them all the time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Barry.
Yeah.
Sold Barry a house 20 years ago. Damn guy's never moved again.
I mean, he told me that.
Anyway, so Barry, here's how this works, right? We take the photos, right? The photos are done. Photos are shot today. By tomorrow morning, they're already in our Dropbox. We don't use a Dropbox. We use a thing called SmugMug, right? I teach people how to do stuff so we don't have to. I don't want somebody to email me stuff and I got to move it, or Christine's got to move it.
Right.
So he has access to my SmugMug and he uploads all the photos in there. And this guy's awesome too, right? His name is Jason Check, right? I found him by just, he was taking aerial photos of David Weekley homes and the guy over there, Dale, says, you should call this guy. And he's like, does all my stuff. So he'll go out and take photos. We do day, night photos. One of my trademark things, if you see on any of my things, is the driveways, the pools are watered down. It's a wet look, right? I want my stuff to look different online than anybody else's. When you look at my photos in MLS, you look them, not all, there's other people that do what I do, but most of them are kind of just, I try to do just a wow. I want to wow everybody with what we're doing. I want somebody in New York to see that picture, that one picture, and they stop there and they dive in and they start seeing all the pictures, right? Now, key, when you put some of you guys are going to hate what I'm going to say.
Mhm.
Do not put, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just going to give you an example, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I would not do like front of the house, foyer, entryway, living room, formal dining room, kitchen, family room, bedroom, bathroom, closet, backyard.
Why?
It's boring.
Yep. You're
They're
gonna lose them.
online. They don't want to look at a laundry room. They want to see the backyard. So and here's why. You want them to go through your photos and not get bored, right? I know some of you anal people want to go room to room. Well, do a Matterport, give them that, right? So, but what you want them to do is see your best right up front, okay? What you also want to understand is when you use the tools like what Remax has for you, right? You get all your flyers done within 24 hours of that house listing. Usually it's 4 or 5 hours are done. They're pulling the first 8 photos, right? You don't have to go there and change them. You pull the first 8 to 10 photos. And your verbiage that you write in MLS, they pull that. So it's all done. These little L's that work for you in the middle of the night for free. All your marketing is done. You don't need to use Orlando.
And that's why you want the first 8 random.
Right.
That's the best thing.
And then the rest you put them in order?
No, I don't care. Well, first of all, I don't do it, right?
I know you don't.
Yeah.
Like I have buyers that look at homes and then they make comments to me several times. They can't stand
Well, I have a Matterport.
picture.
I have a Matterport because I want them to do one thing is stop on my site and call me.
Okay.
And then we'll show them the house and where do they want to go, right? You know what I mean? But again, you got to understand how the consumer and how the software works, right? You don't want to like some people, they go in, they take a picture of the medallion in the entryway, then they take a picture of the culvert ceiling. Well, those are going to pop up in your automatic generated marketing, right? I mean, I just don't do that, right? So some other pieces you didn't see.
taking pictures in because nobody's gonna look at it.
Yeah, I still put them, but, you know, they can, but the first ones, they're gonna get the money shots. I mean, I hate it, right? Because I'm ADD and I'm a D. I just want to look at the backyard.
I do that.
I go backwards
I know I do too.
because you got 56 photos and number 53 is the backyard finally. They're like, probably the
You miss
selling.
it and it takes
Yeah.
you back.
Yeah, it's the selling piece of the house, right? So to cut down in cost, I went with the smaller one in Arrowhead. Same thing, right? This is a little bit less. This is probably about $1 a piece, okay? And then this, they even got even cheaper when it, you know, I didn't have that much inventory. So I went with just a one piece, like a postcard, all done by REM. You wanted to know the phone number, REM? Yeah, who's got good eyes?
I have glasses.
Yeah, say that out loud.
858-952-4280.
Okay.
I'm glad she gave me that because there's no number on here. Oh, there it
There
is.
yeah. David Collins is the owner. Tell him you work for us. We, for the longest time, had the exclusive for this product. And I had about 5, 6, 7 agents doing it. And like I said, the only two people that still use them today is Linda Raywalt and I. And Linda Raywalt, on average, earns about $750,000 every year for the last 10 years. Right? And if you want a strong realtor, I give you 95% of her homes are at 6%. She will do a 5%. They bought another one from her, but it's like she has the highest percent commission per transaction than anybody in the company.
We still remember when commissions used to be 7.
7, yeah.
Wow.
I don't do anything less than 6.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not taking another price tag.
Trust me, today it's even tough.
Oh, it works.
That's a good guy, right? He's a good guy, but he sometimes doesn't have the self-confidence when it comes to going on a listing appointment. And so he called me, he goes, hey, this guy walked into my listing in Anthem. He's buying the house for $1 million. He's got a house in Scottsdale for $2 million. I'm going to charge him 1.5%. And I go, why? And he goes, well, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I said, I'll tell you what, let's co-list it. I'll cover the marketing, right? And we'll split the commission 50-50. He goes, okay. So we just closed today. We got a $58,000 commission. He got his 1.5%, and I got the extra 1.5%. And I told him, I go, look, I mean, I spent $1,500 on postcards and stuff, right? Photos and whatnot, out of my side. And I said, what I want you to learn here is see how easy that was? We went to the listing appointment, and we just assumed that the commission was X. I guess we shouldn't talk commissions, right? X. And the guy said, okay. He didn't even like, what do we do for 5? And he might have, and I might have said no. My commission objection, when somebody says, will you do it for less? I say no. I want you to repeat after me. When somebody says, will you do it for less? You say
No.
Yeah. You know what they do?
Oh,
Okay, let's do it.
Most of the time, okay. But they got to ask, right?
That's a buying signal. If they're asking for a discount, that means they want you.
Right?
And
Yeah.
then, and permits are trying out for
Yeah.
size too.
Yeah. And then if we go on deeper, well, the other realtor said they do it for 4. Yeah. Really?
What do you say?
What do I say?
Yeah, I want to know.
I played fumble, right? Really? I said, so I always go like that. I act like I'm confused, right? I go, so they're going to do it for 4, which means they're going to offer 3% co-bro to the agents in MLS, and they're going to take 1%. Because yeah, that's what they're going to do. And I go, so what you tell me, this guy's going to reduce his commission 66%, and you didn't even ask him to? So what's he going to do to your equity? If he can't even negotiate his own fee, what's he going to do in negotiating your deal? What do I do? Simple.
Does it work every time?
Well, not every time. No. But I mean, Steve, you've been with me a number. It works.
Love it.
You just call them out. you don't reduce your commission 1%. It's 33%. Follow me?
Right.
3 to 2 is a 33% reduction.
Right. And you tell them.
3 to 1 is a 66%. I don't talk 1%. It's not 1%. It's 33%. Right?
Do you ever cut your commission to save you?
You know, it's all, you know, it
But
depends what it
sometimes
is.
you do it on the back end, not right up front.
What I've been doing lately, like I closed 2. One of them are both my clients' kids, right? And they wanted me to do it for 5 on the listings of their house. And I said, no, I'll do it for 6. I said, I'll take a point off the house you buy.
Yeah.
You know, so that's even harder, right? But that's what we've been doing, right? And so think about it, you can even use that in negotiation and go in and do a deal. So I'm going to take a point off, right?
33% off.
33% off, yeah. We're going to reduce our commission by 33% to make this deal happen. Okay? Again, we're really trying to help people get there, right? And, you know, like this condo I just sold the other day, what was it? They bought it from another realtor for 185, and 3 months later they decided it's too small. So I sold it for 212. And they wanted me to give up commission for being a hero, right? So it's like, no, I charge her 3%.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And when she buys the next house, maybe this year or next year, I'm not giving her 33% of the new house they're buying. I'm giving her that $2,312 discount on the next house they buy. Right. So, but I really try to get the full price, right? That's what I'm in business for. I'm in business to serve people and make a profit. Right? So I did this thing for the top RE/MAX agents in the country the other day. So if you want to follow me on Facebook at Nate Martinez Team or on Instagram, that's why that was there. I mean, I built this presentation for that and this one, you know, so I did a few tweaks to it today. That's it. It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to beer. Yeah. So, what's that?
Oh, yeah, RPR video.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Tanya. God, that's why I have you.
That's why I have you.
What did I tell you today? It's a wonder. I already forgot the saying. It's like,
Was that a picture of you and
where?
Login.
Let's see. How you doing there, Cindy? Still there?
I am. Can you hear me?
No, she was still there a minute ago.
Can you hear me? Your,
There she is. Is she there? All right, so
your audio keeps
RPR.
floating in and out. I don't know if you're aware of that.
You still there?
I think she's frozen.
I'm talking to you. You
She was
can't hear
pissed
me?
off. I didn't deliver.
Most of it.
Okay.
Why can't you
Let's
hear me?
see, RPR. Have you guys ever been on RPR?
All the time. I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
I have an app on my phone.
Okay, there it is, right there. Who's there?
Kim.
You can come in. She wants to close me down. All right, this is just a couple minutes, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Well worth your time. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to turn the volume up as loud as I can.
Send out great CMA and reports to you.
Yeah.
On Zoom, they lost the
Farming,
Okay.
also known as geographical prospecting, is a proven
It's worth it.
method of marketing a real estate business, a specific area, in a way that raises awareness of your brand, captures.
Well, I could probably just let it
Buffer.
buffer for a second, okay? But this really shows you in 3 minutes, right, how easy it is to start studying. I do it longhand on MLS by drawing out things. You can pull in, you can just type in like Blackstone or a subdivision in Sun City Grand. Now they have all the different subdivisions and the
Is
big
that what
one.
it's called, RPR refresh?
No, I don't know. It's just, you get these emails, right? It's just an email. It came about a month ago. It came about 3 weeks. I was excited about it when I
Many
saw it.
realtors will say that farming could,
Yeah.
just believe, I didn't.
Yeah. I'll just email it to you now.
Does it already have, do they for you, that obviously they separate out lower price range, but do they separate out owner occupied property?
Yes, whatever you want. Right, so Blackstone, I want the non-owner occupied properties in Canada, in Oregon, because those people are all the second homeowners. It flips, right? And I'm okay even sending it to both, because I don't want to miss. But they
Well, no,
flip.
because you said it's prepared for and it's got the owner's name on it.
Right. On Blackstone, there's no rentals.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but in a lot of neighborhoods, like say around here.
Right. And so you could either send it to the owner of record. They'll do that.
They'll do that.
They'll send it to the guy in LA.
You don't have to give them a list, they'll
Surprise.
do it all for you.
Right, you just tell them what you want. What I did in Vistancia originally, because Vistancia is too big, right? And I didn't want to work, I don't want to sound bad, I didn't want to spend that much money on a lower price home because it was expensive, it was $1.65 a house, right? And I couldn't send it out to 3,000 people because that would cost me like $6,000 a month just to do Vistancia. So I went ahead and I created something, if you notice on this, it's called the Gates of Vistancia. And in Vistancia, I think there's 13 gated communities. You know, P.W. Lewis, this little gated community, 52 homes is next to you. I can go show you back, I can find it, where I did a screenshot of the tax records of every, and I had the screenshot of every house that sold in there in that 12 months. So I knew, and I created a little, like a key, and I would say, you know, 7 homes sold, turnover rate 13%, average price this, means average commissions this, average days is this. And I had all that, and I also had, like, because the tax records tell you that in this subdivision, 38% of the homes have a swimming pool. Well, that's just something you could throw out in the listing appointment, like, you know, right? It's like, you didn't like study it, it's just right there. You can read stuff to people and they think you're a specialist, right? I didn't know anything about Vistancia at the time. But that's what I did. So now I'm not doing these anymore because I got that other thing. And this was just about the gated communities. So the 13 gated communities probably have an average price of 500,000, where the non-gated communities were probably an average price of 350, right? So the information was just about the gated communities. So it was kind of talking to that person. And what you have to understand, the product that you're delivering to somebody should match the recipient, right? I mean, I see stuff going to Blackstone that looks like crap. And I don't think those agents get very much business because their marketing doesn't match the house. I mean, most of the houses in Blackstone, believe it or not, are $1 million now. You know, one house we just sold for $1.020 million was 2,700 square feet with no pool. It's crazy, right? You know, the house originally sold for like 700, I think, you know, because it was on the golf course. But in 3 short years, it sold 3 times, 700 from the builder, 795 to our client, and now $1.020 million. That was in less than 18 months. Like that last one. So, yeah, watch this video. We'll send it out to you. This really tells you probably a little more detail of exactly how to do what I just said in a very systematic way. It's pretty cool. I went through and did a few neighborhoods just to check it out. It just bummed me out. It stopped at 500. So.
I use it at open houses when people, neighbors that come in and
Oh,
they're,
here's
my house for.
here's another tip, right? So, you know, I bleed red, white, and blue. When I die and they cut me open, it's gonna be red, white, and blue blood, right? So I believe so much.
Balloons in there.
Yeah, little balloons, yeah. Instead of sails, they're balloons. They, you know, after 30 years, it's balloons, right? But what I want you to understand is if you really use the tools that we have, example, if you use the RE/MAX app, right? And you send out all your searches on the RE/MAX app, that means people are shopping on RE/MAX.com, coming back to you, right? That means the traffic of RE/MAX keeps getting greater and greater and greater. When you use MLS to send out the information, or we use Boomtown to send it out, it takes away from the spiders on the internet promoting the RE/MAX brand, right? So try to use those tools, learn those tools. I mean, RE/MAX has spent just on Bouge. I know Bouge has had a slow start, but they spent probably $100 million. They've hired 150 programmers in the last year, right? It is a big thing, and it's only going to get better. It keeps getting better every day, right? They keep improving it. They keep changing it, keep making it better. If you don't know, you can take out the RE/MAX app on your phone right now, and it has virtual reality. You can just point it, and you can see behind this building, 2 blocks, there's a house, right? And you can see it, right? And you can just, you know, you're showing a house to somebody, you can just, there's a house across the street, you know, and it's just cool, right? And it loads. I know you guys, if you're not using Bouge, try it. I have all my stuff on Bouge for 18 months now. Every day I get leads right into Bouge, coming right off of Megaphone, right into my Bouge account. I don't touch nothing, the leads in there, right? When they start to search, and they're searching on there, and people searching this, you got to think remax.com is like Nordstrom's. Right? Tanya, you should look up when they say Nordstrom's. You know, I mean, I'll go to Scottsdale Fashion Square. I mean, the store, I mean, I'm not a clothes hog, you know, RE/MAX shirts, but Nordstrom's is a comfortable store to shop at, right? Especially in that once a year sale that I go to. That's about it, right? But I know Nordstrom's, right? I don't really know Neiman Marcus. I don't even know what they have in their Macy's or whatever. I believe people go all the way to Scottsdale to go to Nordstrom's for their service, and that's where they shop. I believe people go to remax.com because they've used RE/MAX before, sometime in the last 45 years. They've used RE/MAX in Chicago. They use RE/MAX and when you get a RE/MAX lead, it's 10-to-1 better than a Zillow lead, right? Or Realtor.com lead, because they went specifically into that department store, Nordstrom's or RE/MAX, right? They wanted to go there. They had a conscious choice of going anywhere, but they're shopping on RE/MAX, right? So really learn the tools that we have, right? And try to push them out. I do. I like it. Yeah.
I think we lost Nate. He might have closed his laptop. So it looks like they're breaking anyways. So thank you guys so much for coming. And like I said, I will be sending out the slide deck along with the link so that way you guys have it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
You're
he needs to know it was buffering a bunch.
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit on my end too. So I'm going to try and figure out what the cause of that was. And next time around, you know, we can do a little bit better. We're just trying this. So it was our first go around on it. And
I enjoyed it. It was good, but it was frustrating when I couldn't always hear see what he was talking about. So anyway, thanks.
Totally agree and understand. So we'll work on it. Thanks, Cindy.
Bye.
Bye, guys.